All right, let's dive in. Connor Bedard, right? Everyone's buzzing about this kid. We've got a stack of articles here. And the one thing they all agree on is that Bedard's story goes way beyond just hockey.
Yeah, it's true. It's interesting, though, everyone's caught up in the hype, calling him the next big thing. But what I think often gets missed is that there's this quiet intensity to his game. It's not just flash. He's so strategic out there.
Yeah, I actually saw a clip of him just the other day, a Blackhawks game. You can just tell by the way he moves. He anticipates plays like he's reading the future or something.
Exactly. And it's not just instinct. It's an understanding of the game, a level of tactical awareness on the ice. It's pretty rare to see, especially for someone so young. He's got these insane puck-handling skills, sure, but what sets him apart is that vision.
So we're talking more than raw talent here. There's real strategy behind his moves.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've got analysts out there comparing his vision on the ice to Gretzky, which is, a pretty hefty comparison. But there are definitely some similarities in how they control the pace and flow of the entire game.
Wow. Okay, you've got me hooked already. Let's back up a bit, though. This all starts pretty early on for Bedard, right?
Oh, yeah. We're talking backyard rink built by his dad, Young, which, by the way, speaks volumes about the kind of dedication and support that goes into creating a player like this. It's the 10,000-hour rule, passion plus series practice.
So it really is more than just natural talent. It's the perfect environment to actually nurture it.
You got it.
Yeah.
And you can see that passion from the beginning. And then there's that moment, he's 14, breaks his wrist.
Yeah, 2 months in a cast, if I remember correctly.
Right. And he spends that whole time training his left hand, turns a major setback into a chance to level up a whole other part of his game.
I mean, most teenagers would be sulking playing video games, not Connor Bedard. Mm-hmm.
It just goes to show his level of commitment. He doesn't just love hockey, he's completely obsessed with mastering it. And you see this resilience throughout his entire career. It's incredible.
So then he hits 15 and boom, earns that exceptional status in the WHL, playing against older, more experienced players. Just how rare is that kind of thing?
Exceptionally rare. It's not just keeping up, it's dominating. You can just imagine the kind of pressure being that young, going up against these bigger, more experienced players. And he didn't just survive, he thrived under that pressure.
He really was born for this. So at this point, everyone's realizing he's the real deal. What happens next?
Well, you've got the 2022-23 WHL season. It was insane, leading the league in goals, assists, points, had this unbelievable 35-game point streak. It was like he was rewriting the record books every time he stepped onto the ice.
Setting the stage for his performance at the 2023 World Juniors, right? Where, let's be honest, he completely took over.
Dominated is an understatement. MVP, best forward at 17, leading Canada to gold. It wasn't just meeting expectations, it was shattering them. He made a real statement there.
So you have this young guy shattering records left and right, and then, of course, comes the real test, the NHL. It's a whole other level.
Oh, for sure. And there were people, who were wondering if he could really make that jump so smoothly. The physicality, the speed, that pressure of playing against the best players in the world night after night, that's a lot.
I mean, yeah, going from playing college ball to the NBA Finals, right? Something like that.
Exactly. And even though he was drafted first overall, going to the Chicago Blackhawks, a team that's trying to rebuild, you still have that massive weight of expectation on your shoulders. He's seen as like the savior of the franchise.
So how has he handled that, the transition? Has he lived up to all the hype?
I mean, it's early, right? But he's had these moments of brilliance. His first NHL goal, unbelievable. It was this incredible wrist shot, top corner, no hesitation, pure confidence, real poise. But yeah, it hasn't been all smooth sailing.
What kind of challenges has he run into playing in the NHL?
I think the biggest adjustment has been the physicality of the game. NHL defensemen are big, strong, fast. They're not afraid to, use their size. He's taken some hits, but he always gets back up. That resilience we were talking about, it's definitely showing.
And what about the speed of the game? How's he adjusting to that?
Yeah, it's been an adjustment for sure. The game is so much faster at this level. There's less time and space to think. But what's impressive is that he's learning, he's adapting, he's starting to anticipate plays at an NHL level now, finding those passing lanes. It's really something.
So he's not letting the challenges get to him. He's using them to actually grow as a player. It sounds like there are some parallels here to his time in the junior leagues, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's that same dedication, that willingness to push himself, to learn and to adapt. I think that's what's driving his success here, too. And it's not just about individual skill either. He's already showing those leadership qualities, stepping up at key moments, inspiring his teammates.
It's fascinating to me how his story really resonates with so many people, even those who aren't, huge hockey fans. What is it about his journey that grabs people?
I think it's the classic underdog story. This kid from North Vancouver, not exactly a hockey hotbed, who defied the odds, worked so hard, achieved his dreams. It's that classic tale of hard work, perseverance, believing in yourself when maybe no one else does.
It's that classic follow your dreams narrative, but with a modern twist. It's not just the talented athlete, it's the strategic thinking, the way he's constantly studying the game, pushing himself to improve. It's pretty inspiring.
And I think that resonates with people, especially young people. It's a reminder that talent alone isn't enough. It takes dedication, discipline, and that willingness to really embrace the challenges to achieve true greatness.
So if we were to try and break Bedard's story down into key takeaways, what would they be? What can we learn from his journey that, applies beyond just hockey?
Well, the first thing that jumps out at me is finding your passion. That thing that really lights you up, that makes you want to get out of bed and work at it. For Bedard, it's hockey. But for you, it could be music, art, writing, business, whatever really gets you going.
Okay, so find your passion. What comes next?
All right, once you found that passion, it's all about setting clear goals. Short-term and long-term. Think about where you want to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years. And then what are the steps you need to take to get there?
So it's about having a vision, a kind of roadmap of where you want to go.
Exactly. And it's not just about setting the goals. It's about consistently taking action. That's where Bedard's story really shines. He didn't just become a hockey superstar overnight. It was years of practice, countless hours spent really perfecting his craft. It was day after day, year after year.
Yeah, like building a house. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly there's a finished mansion. It's brick by brick, day by day.
You got it. That's the third takeaway I'd highlight. The power of consistent effort. It's those little actions, those efforts that might seem small at the time, but they build up over time. They lead to big results.
So it's not about waiting for some perfect moment. It's not about some big grand gesture. It's about those little consistent efforts every day. It's showing up and putting in the work, even when it's tough, even when nobody's watching.
Right. And I think that's a powerful message, especially now. It's so easy to get caught up in the idea of instant gratification, overnight success. But Bedard's story reminds us that real success takes work. It takes perseverance. It takes a willingness to embrace the entire journey, including the tough parts.
Yeah, it's funny how we always focus on those highlight reels, the big moments.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what happens behind the scenes, that everyday grind. That's what really matters.
It's so true. And one thing that really stuck out to me reading all these articles was how Bedard actually seeks out those challenges. He's not afraid to push himself.
Oh, interesting. Is there a specific example that comes to mind?
Well, there was this story about when he was playing in the WHL, he started using visualization techniques as part of his training. Like he would spend time each day visualizing himself, making plays, scoring goals, even anticipating his opponent's moves.
So he wasn't just training physically, he was getting mentally prepared for those high-pressure moments.
Exactly. And it shows another key part of this story, I think. Mental toughness. To really succeed in any field, especially something like professional sports, you can't just rely on talent. You need that mental resilience to get through the tough times.
It's like they say, your mind is your strongest muscle. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the mental strength to overcome those challenges, those setbacks, you're not going to reach your full potential.
And Bedard has shown that mental toughness again and again. Think about it. The broken wrist. Instead of letting it get him down, he used that time to develop another part of his game.
Yeah, he turned lemons into lemonade. That's what separates the good from the great, right?
For sure. And it's not just about overcoming setbacks. It's about seeking out challenges, pushing past your comfort zone. That's where you really grow.
So it's not enough to have passion, set goals. You got to be willing to get uncomfortable, push yourself to be better.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another important part of Bedard's story. Mentors. Guidance. Throughout his whole journey, he surrounded himself with people who believed in him, pushed him, gave him support when he needed it.
So it's not all about going it alone. It's about having a strong support system, people who can give you advice, encouragement, help you see things from a different perspective.
Right. A coach, a mentor, a friend, family. Having people you trust you can rely on, it's so important, especially when you're facing challenges.
It's like having a team of Sherpas with you when you're climbing Mount Everest. You might be the one making the climb, but you wouldn't get there without their support.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Connor Bedard's story, I think the biggest takeaway here is this. Success isn't just about talent. It's not just about luck. It's about the choices we make, the effort we put in, and the mindset we have.
It's about finding what you're passionate about, setting goals, embracing those challenges, being mentally tough, and having good people in your corner. It's about showing up and putting in the work, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about achieving those big successes, checking things off a list. It's about the whole journey. It's about growing, learning about yourself along the way. And that's something we can all apply to our lives no matter what we're doing.
Really well said. So, to wrap things up, we'll leave you with this. What's your backyard rink? What are you willing to pour your heart and soul into? And what's one small step you can take today to get a little closer to that? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing yourselves to be your best.